Hi guys, welcome to the flight today, as we are in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 with the Pmdg 737-700 with the Ryanair real-world flight today that we're going to do from Barcelona to Bordeaux. We're going to be departing at runway 06 left, arriving in for the RNAV approach for runway 11. We'll intercept that on 3 degrees, around 2,000 feet. Running down at LNAV and VNAV, we'll see if we can do the LPV, which localises the performance with vertical guidance. So that's the Cat 1. So it'd be similar to an approach with the ILS, but it would just be an LPV. We'll have an FAC, which would be a final approach course, and GP for glide path instead of glide slope. So, don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Thanks to everybody who joins the channel. As usual, you are always valued here, and new people are always welcome to join the channel and the community. So let's get inside the cockpit and start the aircraft up, ready for our pre-flight procedures and our departure out of lovely Barcelona, as we should get a good overhead view as we hit the water to come out, passing all the little sailboats that are on the edge of the coast. Here we are in the 737-700, so we can get the aircraft all ready and lit to go. We've got the battery on and guarded, standby power is guarded, APU is going to get ready and lit, so we got the one pump in for the APU. Ground powers are on, and we can test that as we've got on the bats. The APU will start up now. We can arm the emergency lights. We'll get the chimes on with the fastened seatbelts. Should get the click back, which we can see. We'll get our panel lights on as we get the IRSs now aligned, ready to go. So 1 to nav, 2 to nav. Test out the flaps, which is checked. Flight recorder, which can be checked. Come down now. We get the window heats on. Recircs to auto. We get the packs to auto. Isolation valves open. Get the APU bleed on with the engine bleeds, which are currently off. Turn the anti-collision light on, which is checked. We're leaving out for a flight level of 300. We'll get the airport elevation down in a lovely Bordeaux as we go 153. So put up 150, 300, which should be checked. As we're just waiting now for everything to come on board, we go onto the FMC, we get the IRS position all aligned. The APU will switch over in just a few moments time. So we've got Lima Echo Bravo Lima from Barcelona. We're leaving out on 06 left, which will be the 064. So we'll get that all punched in just before we come in. For lovely Bordeaux, we've got Lima Foxtrot Bravo Delta. Going to be departing out runway 06 left, and we're taking the NAPT 1 Alpha, okay, which is checked. From NAPT we're going direct to Evnam. From Evnam we then got direct to Alpha Golf November VOR, direct to Reshade. Reshade is going to take us to Romeo 17. That'll take us to Merba. Okay, which is in. Then we come down onto the arrival, which is going to be the Merba 9 Lima. Coming in for the RNAV for runway 11. Going to transition at Lerbrou. As we can see, Lerbrou is our initial approach fix once we ride in. As you can see, there's a Lerbrou as we come through. And then for the initial approach from Lerbrou, we'll roll it all the way down to the Bravo Delta 111. That's going to then see us through to the next part of the fix for the 106, which will come straight down in for runway 11. So that's pretty much all that set up, ready to go. Activate that up, get that all in as we go through to the perf. So whilst we request the perf, we're going to be taking out the 064. Okay, which is checked, and 300. Okay, there's our information already and checked. Flight directors can go on, we can arm the emergency, the auto throttle. Perps in, so we get that loaded, 65.5 tons coming out. We're going for 300. Cost index leaving out on the performance is 56. Cruising altitude of 300 is going to give us 212 at 3. And the score a -39. Okay, trans puts 10,000. Okay, that's all done. Off the takeoff performance, take a takeoff 2, climb 1, which will come out, unable to execute altitude, so 36, and then between 3 and 8,000. So what we'll have to do is, on the limit, we'll just have to go on to full derate, so takeoff 1 should be okay for us. As probably with the thrust setting, the aircraft's not going to basically be able to meet the requirements that the aircraft is asking for. So we're going to get our winds as we leave out of Barcelona. On the METARs we've got 1017, winds currently 040 at 8. Okay, which is checked. 1500 on the reduction as we come through, and then up to 3000 feet will be the acceleration height. So 130, 135 and a 141 for V2. Okay, 141 for V2. That's all set in and checked. Trim will be 618, we'll do that just before we depart. Go ahead now, we get the APU on, which is checked. We get the yaw damper in, let's switch over to the APU gen. We got all of our pumps on, electric hydraulics, which are checked, and we can now close the doors and get ready to depart lovely Barcelona. Should be very nice today. I'll show you the arrival chart as well, just before we do get ready to leave. So stairs can be gone. Forward loaders are all gone. We can breeze the ground power, which is all checked. Doors are now shut, which is fine. So 1017, quick before we forget, 1017. Get our panel lights on, and then we're pretty much all good to go. Basically, going to leave out on the NAPSI 1 Alpha. So get the 116.7 in for Barcelona. 116.7, which is in for Barcelona, which we tracked out onto the 064, which is already set and checked. As we leave out 3 nautical miles below 8,000 to 3,000 at Dillum, is where we then depart out onto that right hand turn of the 127. Pretty much going to backtrack it all the way around from the Bravo Lima 01 and then head back for the 330 just to make a slight right to Nepti for the initial approach fix. Coming through from the RNAV, the arrival is going to take us down from Murba. We'll take the 294 into Libra, which is down for the runway below 12,000 and above 5,000, so flight level 1, 2 as we passed over the QNH, and about 5,000 feet for Lubu. Once we get down to Lubu, we're then going to follow it down to the 277. Continuing down, we've got the Bordeaux VOR as well, where we make a left-hand turn for the India Bravo at Delta 11. And then in from there, we're basically going to follow it all the way down 2,000 feet mandatory as we follow it to the Foxtrot Bravo Delta 11, but we fully established gear down as we 5 nautical miles from the runway. So we could either use L11 VNAV, we'll see how things are. We've got the LPV, which localizes performance with vertical guidance, which is basically like a Cat 1, except on the approach it will say FAC for final approach course and GP for glide path instead of glide slope. We'll probably be looking to come around for around 140 to 145, so it's got about 840 to probably 900 feet per minute. It's a 3.4 degree glide path, and the misapproach point for the L11 VNAV or the LPV is at the decision altitude, which for us, if we was running it on L11 VNAV, would be 463 for 3110. So that's everything all there for us today. Get TA on for the transponder, and we can now get ready to leave. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to get the tug. Probably won't even need the tug, to be honest. We could probably just push straight out the block, maybe. Let's have a little look. So it does want us to get pushed back. We'll just do a straight line, straight out. Yeah. Okay, so straight out. Just say 295, which will be set. We'll get the tug in as well. I don't know why the brake never seems to be on when we are getting to ready to go. Auto brake can be RTO 064 ready. Use that just to come out. If we was using 747-200, then we'd use the VOR, as that would be our only sort of visual reference, apart from the INS coming out. So there's Barcelona, which has come in. Just need to start the tug.
Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start tail straight out. Roger that. Ready for push straight back. Brakes off.
Okay, so backs are now off, which are checked. Brakes now off and released.
Brakes released. Brakes released. Here we go.
Okay, so there's pushback now. Go for engine number 2. Start valves open. N2 slowly but surely will increase at 25%. We can inject fuel, see EGT start to increase. So whack them on at 20%. There's engine number 2 now just coming in. That's just going to get ready to go. I do need to sort out the wing views, haven't got around to it yet. So I will get the wing views all back in for you guys. Okay, so there's the EGT starting to increase now for engine number 2. That will stabilise off. 56% start to cut out, we'll go back, you'll hear the cut out turn off as well, so we'll see that there's 50%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's a start to cut out, come back, and I'll go for engine number 1. So start valves open. N2's increasing. All pressure and temps come to life. 25% would inject fuel. MC EGT start to increase.
Brakes set.
Okay, brakes are now set. 25%. N2 would inject fuel.
Alright, steering pin is disconnected. Watch for the slip release from guidance on your left. Have a good flight.
See you soon, bye bye. So there's engine number 1 coming in. It's quite clear skies over here in Barcelona. There's a little few showers down in Bordeaux, so we'll see how that fares us today on the departure. So it looks lovely weather. We're going to come straight out over the coast, which should be nice for us as well. As we just go in, what we want to do is I'm going to go into just change one of the Pmdg settings. Put the terrain peaks on. Okay, it's all set, so there's 3,000 to 8,000 feet as we then turn onto that heading. So we are now all ready to go. So as the tug's now cleared off, switch over the gens, which will go over, which are checked, go over to gen 1, probes can now go on, packs can now go to auto, isolation valve can go to auto, the APU bleed can be turned off along with the engine bleeds which are on. APU is now off, the engine start switches are continuous. So there we are all fired up, ready to go. Get in the cabin, let them know that we are ready to leave, and we can just see the coast of the water. So we said on the departure that our trim was going to be around 6 point something. So we'll have a look at that quickly. Trim's going to be 6.18. So as the trim slowly moves itself up. Okay, so we'll call it 618 there. And we are now ready to leave. So we'll go on to the taxi charts. Taxi charts coming out, we're literally right here, so we'll follow it down and then swing in as we do for November 13. So we'll come all the way out and then get on to November 13. We'll take as much as the runway as we need. We've got 3,352 meters, so it should be very nice. The parking brake can be released. We can power on up just a little, just to get the aircraft moving. Taxi lights can go on. Flaps 5, which will be set. There we can now make that right hand turn to runway 06 left. So we can show you slats now extending. Yeah, which is down, flaps 5. There's our taxi for 06 left. And I'm just going to be armed with 10 select. So auto brake is RTO. Flaps 5, which is down, leaving out. We've got 141 for V2. As we're going to come out now onto the runway. Thought we'd come over from the other side, as we've been over on the right hand side before. Thought it'd be nice just to come out from a different point of perspective out into Barcelona. So for 06 left, we're going to take this big chunky gap, which is going to be right here for us on the departure route. Which is going to be the hold points, which are literally just over there. So as we come down to our taxi charts, we're coming right down here, as we're just going to take this right hand turn just over the threshold. I don't think we're going to go up all the way to the end. That's going to take us all around the back end of runway 06 left. So we are going to line up right here. Take the far end right. It should be just here for us now as we then get ready to line up on the runway. So cabin crew, take your seats for departure. So before takeoff, we've got engine start switch to continuous, gears down, obviously green lights, flaps 5 which are set, auto brakes RTO, V2's plugged in, and we've got the Barcelona VOR coming out, which is the 116.7, which we're going to leave 3 DME between under 8,000 and above 3,000 feet. Which is all checked for us. Okay, so as we come down now, just past the whole short line. Okay, which is checked. Runway tunnel flights can go on. Strobes can be set. Doing the camera one more time. As we now go to line up. The weather looks nice and clear. Lovely views as we come out. I will do a wing view. Now we've got everything all sorted and set up nice and smooth. I will do a 4K wing view for you guys on this departure, as it is a really nice scenic view. We'll try and get the autopilot in as soon as possible after departure, so you guys can take a lovely look at the views as we leave around off of Barcelona itself. So, just going to brake up here. Okay, which are set. Put the brakes on, which are set for us to leave. So, get the landing lights all on, which are checked. LNAV's pre-armed with and select. So, there's only one thing left to do. Go to TARA. Traffic's on. You can see as we move out, there's our right hand turn. That right hand turn is going to lead us through to the 129. Okay, so power up to 40%, 45%. Stabilized. And so we go. SB live. Check. Throttle hold. 100 neutral on the column.
V1. Rotate.
Rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Okay, which is checked. Coming down for a V2 plus 15. On here I think it's a V2 plus 20. Bug off. Auto brake can be turned off, which should be checked. As we now go to speed up. Go to our flaps up speed. Flight director will drop down just a little as we go into our climb now, which we're going to leave the aircraft off. So I'm just going to now slow down. As you can see, the rapid ascends up as the aircraft's now going to speed through. So we're going to take that right hand turn and get the autopilot in for now as we come up 208 for our flaps up speed, and you guys can see lovely Barcelona as we go to drop out. So we're going to take the 129. Okay, which is checked. Once we pass here, so we are 3,000 down through to under 8,000 feet, so we've hit that restriction. As we now come around onto this right hand bend, which then leads us through. Flaps up. As we leave lovely Barcelona. Still down there on the buildings. So as we're now reaching onto our flaps up, we can get VNAV in with the aircraft now will speed to 250 as we rise up through our lovely right hand bend, which is then going to take us back tracking onto 328, passing through 6003, up flight level 300, so gears up and off, auto brakes are off, cabin can be relaxed now as it is pretty stable. Runway turn off lights can be turned off along with the taxis. Leave the engine start switches, which can be turned off as well. Gen 1, which is cool. Everything's running fine. Recall, which is clear. 2.5 under 10,000, and then from 10,000 we're then going to go into that right hand turn, backtrack, and then come straight back over Barcelona. QNH is a 1017. I'm going to switch them over just around 11. So landing lights are now off, which are checked. Just in climb mode at the moment. 27 degrees, so we definitely don't need no anti-ice just yet. As we're coming back through, we're going to roll it around, then come back in onto the Bravo Lima 062 and then the 063, which is going to take us all the way up. So what I might do is, seeing as we are coming through 1, 2, 3, we can take a little diver, maybe, as it's going to take quite a little while just to get up to that little point of view. So we're on that departure now. As we're coming through, we need to come back to the 02 and then to the 02, so the 062 and the 042, which is right there. So there's the QNHs, which can go back over to standard for the 062, and that will create a new waypoint for us. Then we can go direct around. This is an RNAV departure, so we should follow it around and just stay within the VOR for the beacon. So we're now going to take that left hand turn, come back on ourselves and go direct to the Bravo Lima 662. Absolutely stunning views of this aircraft. So as we ride up now to connect back on, just passing through 16,000 feet. You can just see the peaks of terrain which are there for 2,000, 5,005. As we now level up to come back tracking on to the 306. which is checked. QNH over to standard, we're going for flight level 300. As you now just get ready to break over onto Barcelona. As you can see, all the lovely views ahead of us as we come through. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave you guys with some aerial cinematics, and then once we get back in, come in for our top of descent, ready for the middle of arrival, coming down for runway 11 for the RNAV approach. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, leave your comments down below, and I'll see you when we get back into the flight deck for our top of descent. Some pretty torrential weather with the thunderstorms as well, as we are just leaving, getting ready to leave flight level 300. So as we've dropped down on the MCP altitude now, the aircraft will go past its top of descent and get ready to come in 5 nautical miles. So speed brakes can be armed now as we get the aircraft fully configured, ready to come in. Motherboard below 17,000, which we are. The aircraft's just slowly now descending through, as we need to be below 12,000 once we get to Bordeaux, which is going to be down onto the 294, so we can plug the 294 in. Okay, 294, which is set. Then from there, for the initial approach at Bordeaux, we're going to make a right hand turn to the 196 for the India Bravo Delta 11. Mandatory is 190 for 2,000 feet, which we're going to see as we come in 190 for 2,000, which is checked, and as we come in from Bordeaux, which is max 220 for flight level 124 max as well. So the aircraft is doing a great job now as we go into the clouds, moving on to that 294 track. Passing under our transition altitude, we'll then switch in at 6,000 for the QNHs, which is 1014. And altitude 150, bleeds are on, packs are auto, +5 as the temperature now starts to rise. And we're coming in for around 12,000 feet once we hit down to Bordeaux, which is in 23 nautical miles. So the aircraft's going to just stay in. There's vertical deviation, which is just dropping now as we'll start that descent down. We want to be going down to 12,000, then down to 4,220. So between 5,000 and flight level 12. So we get the approach speeds all in 86 to 89, which is basically 0.3, which is going to give us 62.6. 10 knot winds down on the runway, so that'll be a +5, so VREV 30 +5, which gives us a 144. Speed brakes are armed. I'm going to come in from auto brake number 2, 144, which is checked, and there's VREV 139. Drags are required, so as the aircraft's just send now through 11,000 feet, with landing lights all on, which are checked, runway turn-offs, get the taxis, engine start switches to continuous, tell the cabin to prepare themselves for the arrival, as we now start to see some of the lovely Bordeaux in France. Those speed brakes can come open. 10 degrees, anti-ice can now come on. Flaps are now in, or speed brake should I say. See the speed tape now dropping as we're going to drop down to 2, so we just need to drop down even more. Speed intervention can go in, drop that down for 4,000 feet. Mandatory is going to be 2,000, which is checked, coming in for the RNAV approach as well. Still following the VNAV path. Between 5,000 above and 12, dropping down to 240, then we go down to 220 for 4,000 feet. Doesn't look very nice outside. So it's currently got a tailwind at the moment. From there we move on to the 276 for the Bravo Delta 113. Okay, 276. Okay, I'm going to leave the drag for now, as we're going to pass over 5,000 above. On for the restrictions coming in, we've got 240 which is in and checked. Once we come down onto the RNAV approach and hit the Bravo Delta 111, mandatory 3,000 feet. Which you've got 3,000, 2,000 for the 111, and then we start our descent at 2,000 for 144, which means at our final approach point, that's where we're going to have flaps 30, gear down, and be fully established, ready to come in on the arrival. Got 144, so we're looking probably around about 900 feet per minute, just around. Auto brake number 2, which is going to be checked, and we've got our VREF 30 plus 5, which is our 144. It's passing 8,007, the aircraft's going to go into its left-hand turn. We're all fully configured pretty much to come in, so we can enjoy some of the views. We can see there's a little bit of rain just about. As we welcome ourselves into a lovely Bordeaux, a little bit of lightning. So weather's not the greatest. We may go into some showers on our way. As you can see, we have got some front there as we come back and have some, so we'll just see how we go on the way down. The wipers don't really do anything when you're using them. It's just I think it's just for show. You'd have to speed up the FPS if you wanted them a little bit faster as well. So here's the 5,000 above. Aircraft's now going to drop down. There's our decel point for 220. That's going to be where we make that left hand turn now onto the 276. So this flickering there is because we're right in between the window of the captain's side and outside and inside, so it's just because we're in the middle of the glass. As we continue to descend down through 7,000, we've got 2,000 which is plugged. We are going to take the RNAV approach coming in, so we get the VOR in as well, just so we can see our DME reference. Should bring up the RNAV right here for the identifier, but for some reason it doesn't. If anyone knows why, then do leave a comment down below. So we're going to be doing the RNAV and VNAV, which is going to be 463. Okay, 463, which is set for 310. 5 DME out, we are then going to start the descent down onto the runway. 2,000 feet for the 106. Okay, 106. Plug in the 11375. Okay, 11375. The RMP, I'm just going to have a look as well. I just want to have a look and see what the VOR approach is like. So QNHs can now come back over to 1014, which are checked. As we're going for the approach, let's have a look at what the VOR approach looks like. So the VOR approach, again, it's a 5.4 DME, so it's literally just near the start of the descent. So on for the LNAV and VNAV approach, 3.4 degree glide path, looking around about 900 feet. For LNAV and VNAV, missed approach point is at decision altitude, 463 for 310 decision height. There's the airport right now, as we're just coming over. We're coming over to our left. And it's just a little bit rocky. And then from there we're going to make that swing around 3,000 feet, just sending through 4,800, and then we'll go down to 3. There's a 220 which is coming for our speed, and then there's the left hand turn. When we come through the Foxtrot Delta 11, that is where we are going to lock in and start the descent down. So once we go onto this left hand turn, we'll go into flaps 5, and then we'll configure accordingly as we need. So, lovely Bordeaux. see lightning all over the place, over on them clouds just there. Doesn't look too bad in front of us. Looks like we're kind of doing alright. So there's the next decel point, and as you can see 22019 to 14. So it looks very choppy over in the distance. Okay, so I'm going to start to bring the control columns over. So we can get ready to nail this landing, guys. So 200 and 300 feet down on the ground. It's for the terrain, as we've got the terrain peaks on. So approach checklist, landing lights, everything are on and checked. Engine start switches are continuous, packs are auto, bleeds are on. Cabin has been advised. Auto brake set for number 2, VREV 30 plus 139 plus 5, which is going to give us a 144. Speed brakes are armed, we've got the 106 plugged along with the 113.75. Cabin has been advised, and we are all ready to start the descent down 3,000 feet. When we take this left hand turn, we're going to basically move on to a flaps 5 setting. Once we make the second left hand turn, we'll go flaps 15, gear down, and then we'll get flaps 30 engaged by the time we are ready to come in. Down, just a few little bumps. The aircraft's going to come down to 3,000 feet. Just some lightning, just to the front and left of us. So cabin crew, take your seats for arrival. The aircraft's pretty much fully configured to come in. You can see we've got VNAV path, which we're going to need to follow down for the vertical guidance. We've got LNAV in, which is following us down. We've got LNAV and VNAV for the RNAV approach. For some reason we don't get it indicated here on the PFD for some reason. You can see with the RMI at the airport there, is just, well, the VOR for the airport is just right there, leading down onto 150. You can see as it's moving, as we're going forwards, going backwards, just like the 747-200. We use the RMI along with the HSI, horizontal speed indicator, and the radio magnetic indicator. So there's the left hand turn now, as we come through. I'm going to drop down into a flaps 5. Hey, there comes slats. Okay, flaps 5, which is down. Going to hold for 2,000 feet, then we'll go down to our minimums. We're going to put an extra 40 feet onto that, so we're going to make that 500. Yeah, which is checked. 2,500, which is set. Drag required after the India Bravo 111. As the aircraft slowly slows down now to a flaps 5, under 210 we go to a flaps 10. But we're within reach, 190 we need for this turn, which we can see 190. And once we spin around, that'll slow us down a little bit more, as we lose some drag off the aircraft. Into our left hand turn we go. We'll do flaps 15, go down. Okay, so I think as I haven't calculated up the joystick, put that back in, there we go. As I haven't calibrated the joystick yet, the aircraft's basically just done some funkiness pretty much. LNAV and VNAV paths in, we're going to drop that down to our minimums. I'm going to drop that down to 400 feet, so that passes through the minimum reference. 500 is going to be for 300. So we drop that down to 300 feet, that'll pass us through the minimums. Don't know why the aircraft's gone back down to a flaps 5. For speed intervention, I'll probably jump it out. So we go down to a flaps 30, which is set. That's going to give us our 144. So, because obviously I haven't configured the buttons back on the on the throttles, basically just sent the flaps down to a full flaps down. So altitude hold, now we want to put on the altitude intervention, VNAV, which needs to go back in. So VNAV is meant to come back in, we can start to descend it down, so we'll sort of call it like a VLR approach. They come down from around about 900 feet to start initially. I don't know why the aircraft keeps wanting to go back down to 170. So we're going to start the descent down, looking for around about 800 feet. We'll call it basically a VLR approach, run it down in LNAV and the vertical speed, which is going to be for around about 850 feet. It's around 800 feet per minute. So as the aircraft's just getting down to speed, once through 1600, we can see where we're going to end up for around 300 feet. You can see we've got the airport in sight as we're running it visually, so this is sort of like a VOR approach pretty much. We can see with 3.8 here, for some reason the RNAV just wanted to go a little bit funky for us. So we've got the airport in view, we come down for around 800 feet per minute, which is practically the glide path that we need. We can see we're going to get around for around 300 feet. We've got the sun's glare and everything all on, cabin can take their seats. And for landing checklist, gears down 3 green, flaps 30 green light, all the brakes set for number 2, packs are on, bleeds are on as well, and we are fully established now, ready for the visual. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the autopilot, disconnect the auto throttle, and now I have control of the aircraft. 144 is what we're looking, get a bit of trimming. Looking around 800 feet per minute. It's a little bit choppy. So flying it visually now. Coming down the puppies, we've got 3 reds, so we'll just lift up just a little, get about 2 red, 2 white.
500. Was 100.
And there's 144. There's the 3.4 descent path, there's 2 red, 2 white.
Minimums.
Continue. I fly visually now.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Okay, speed brakes are up. And reversers are active. Full pressure on the column. And welcome to Bordeaux. Setting the records with Ryanair, as usually smash it down on the tarmac. They take me on board, I recommend some smooth ones. Okay, 80 knots, reversers can be stoked. Knots, manual braking. And welcome to Bordeaux, guys. Lovely, beautiful views outside the windows as we come in. We're going to taxi off to the left. It should be very nice to see. So I hope you did enjoy the flight. I enjoyed the flight just as much as you guys did. As we came down, I'm just going to get our taxi info as we're going to get ready to break off. And coming down in from 1-1, we are going to break off onto Foxtrot, then match up onto the gate. So we're just going to slow down now. Okay, so it's sort of like a VOR approach, even though we didn't have it, but we already saw what our reference for the speed was going to be on for our V speed. So the descent was around 850 feet per minute. Speed brakes can now be coming in, carefully retract the flaps. And welcome to Bordeaux. Come around, we got our landing lights, everything all turned off as we run over the whole short lines. 1.5 minutes after arrival, we can get the APU all started up as well. So landing lights can go off, runway turn off lights can go off, which are checked, engine start switches can go back, seatbelt signs, it shows can go back to steady. And here we are now ready to go to stand. The clouds don't look very nice at all. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to leave you with the landing cinematics of that lovely arrival down into runway 11. And thanks to everybody who supports the channel. It really does mean a lot to me to have all of you community members all in one place for these flights. And everyone else who's new, you're more than welcome to join. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and be a part of the community here with us on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 with the Pmdg 737-700. So you enjoy yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you all very soon.